Hey y'all, I'm out here trying to finish up this project again. Project clean up the melon bed. Alright, so I'm gonna go way back to September the 9th. This video is from the 9th. I didn't find any video that I had from between then and when I started to clear out. So it had gotten even larger than this, but this is how full and lush this melon bed had gotten. And I didn't start removing it until the 18th, which was almost 2 weeks ago. So it's taken me almost 2 weeks to get rid of all of this stuff, because I've done it in stages. I didn't want to overwhelm myself. It was hot last week. It was hot until this past Sunday, and now we're in the 80s, so it's more practical to be outside and doing this kind of stuff. So this is what it looked like this morning before I got started with the final phase in this cleanup of the melon bed. And it had wilted down a little bit, so it's smaller. It looks less than it did when I finished phase 2 the other day, because the leaves have wilted, but it's still quite a bit. So I'm gonna focus on doing as much as I can, but focus on clearing out the melon bed. Now I still have this morning glory. I believe this is a morning glory. It's very nice. I would like to keep it, and if I could put it on the fence or on a trellis or something, I will. But it was choking out my blueberry, and I cut that part of the vine, so that's dying, so that's no longer an issue. But I do like the morning glories. They're great for pollinators. But this is where we're starting today. We're clearing out the melon bed. So let's get started. Those are the peppers that I had accidentally broke off, and so I'm going finally trashing those. You can see the base of this plant where I pulled out from the roots. It was very thick. And my potatoes, this is my first time growing potatoes. They're in these blue grow bags, and they look like vines too. So the cantaloupe and watermelon vines were getting tangled up with those, so I was having a hard time trying to make sure I didn't damage those. And this right here is actually a volunteer tomato. It has fruit and flowers, and I decided to keep it since I haven't had a lot of luck with tomatoes this year, which is unusual because I had a lot of success with tomatoes last year and the year before. I grew tomatoes in this bed, the melon bed area, last year, and that's why I have so many volunteers. I found these smaller melons, and they felt very solid. They're probably not mature. They're really small. I'm gonna try and see what they taste like anyway, because these cantaloupes have been so good after being refrigerated, chilled a little bit. They are so good, so sweet and refreshing. I'm gonna at least try to see if I could get something. And the shade cloth this is the 3rd year I've had the shade cloth, and it's like a brittle plastic, so it's pretty easy at this point to just pull it apart. But I couldn't reach it when I removed the majority of it, and there are still parts of it still zip tied to the frame, so I'm gonna have to do that later. And these smaller ones were soft, so that's why I went ahead and put those in the trash. Now I'm gonna try to clean up the ground as much as I can, pick up the larger objects. Not right now, but I'm over time, when I'm going out and doing my cleanup process, continuing this process of cleaning up the garden, now that it's a lot cooler. This white container is for composting in place. I usually bury it inside my raised beds, but I haven't used it this year. But I'm ultimately gonna use my blower to blow out all that debris, blow it out of the rocks. That big cantaloupe over there. It's hard to access it because of this net that I have zip tied to this frame. I'm trying to pull over that, reach over there to get as much as I can. So I really wanted to finish this today, like the main parts of getting rid of all these leaves and stuff. It's going to be an ongoing work in progress. That's more morning glory vine, and since it's over here by my actual plants, I'm getting rid of it, although I have found that I love the morning glory because it attracts so many pollinators. It also attracts hummingbirds, and it's also really pretty. There's going to be some left over here along the fence just because I can't reach it, but not much. It's not going to be bags full of this left. I'm also going to have to cut off the rest of the shade cloth, like cut the zip ties at the grommets to remove it completely, but I still tried to get rid of as much as I could. And that net was just zip tied to the frame. It was very strong. It held up this whole time. I'm just pointing over to along the fence where I can't reach that, and I couldn't reach the cantaloupe, so I was going to try to get it later. I was concentrating on what I could reach easily because I'm doing this during my break, my morning break, while I work. I work from home. And this took me less than 10 minutes. And so I got one bag full of this. So this makes the third bag full of this debris from the melon bed and clearing it out. Whenever I remove the morning glory, I'll do that separately. I am going to try to save the morning glory if I could trellis it somehow along the fence or get a metal trellis and put it up, because these morning glories have given me the flowers that I wanted that I couldn't grow back there in that corner. So all those cantaloupes were bad. I know next year I'm going to put it somewhere in a way where I can access everything, so much won't go to waste. But ultimately I did enjoy growing this, and I did get some fruit from it. Alright, so here is the after. I knocked it out this time. I mean, there's still stuff to be cleaned up and cleared out, but that's just a part of the ongoing, maintenance for the garden. I'm gonna start prepping that to get, I don't know if I'll put something in there now. I plan to, I would like to. And that's a lot of growing space over there. And it's in the best spot in my yard this time of the year with the sun so far south. And I was struggling to get to this watermelon, not watermelon. I was struggling to get to this cantaloupe, and unfortunately, it was not a good one. Oh, man. Alright, y'all. Thanks for watching.